Well, it's been a minute. It's been a minute since I've stood in front of camera and talked, and quite frankly, it's the first time for this channel. Everybody's in quarantine, lockdown, whatever. Hope you're staying safe. Have I got anything better to do? No. Have I been playing Minecraft all day? Yes. So if you don't know me, I'm Molly, and this channel is Shutter Studios. This is a company business thing that I'm decided I wanted to do rather than going off to uni. But I also have a channel called Molly's Dinosaur. Link will be in the description and linked on the channel. The last video on there would have been when we went to Disneyland Paris back in summer, and there was a nice little video I did of that holiday. It was alright, and actually on the website, Shutter Studios website, you will find a load of photos. And to be fair, I'm pretty proud with how quite a lot of them come out, especially the character photos of like the parade and everything. I was quite happy with all of them, and just that capturing the moment, which if I'm honest is something I really love to do. In this video I'm going to be going over my whole A-level photography. For all my A-levels I did media, film, photography. Originally I was doing biology. I talk a lot more about this in a video on Molly's Dinosaur. If you do want to watch that, click the iCard up here. For photography I ended up getting an A, which was really cool. I kind of wanted an A star, but let's be fair, an A in A-levels is pretty good. I'm going to stick my GoPros on and we'll start at the very beginning. Right, so as I said, I'm going to start off with Year 12. Book 1. So for all units we had to do briefs, mood boards. We also had to make sure we did artist studies throughout. This consisted of a little bit about the artist and who they were, and then analysing some of the photos. Then we get to the first shoot where it's already fallen apart in the book, because let's face it, this is September 2018 I believe. The first shoot, the test shoot, getting used to camera and using manual settings, which I don't think I had used yet. I think I had only used auto. So it was quite fun, and it did challenge me a little bit, but I did kind of pick it up quite quickly. So we've got one here where I've actually stitched over the photo. So I've taken the photo, I've shot them up on screen right now, taken the photo, cropped it square, and then I colour popped it. And then I decided to actually stitch over the photo. And it actually worked really well because the colours that I chose were pretty much spot on to the image. So we then make our way into a second shoot, and again just kind of experimenting, learning the camera, learning what to do. Now here we have an image that is up on Shutter Studios website, because I still do really like it. The day I didn't do much to it. I did hue saturation, some levels, some more hue saturation, and I put a vignette on it. But it shows sometimes how little processing can actually make an image. I'm not going to say all shoots were successful, they're not, or all photos you take are going to be successful, they're not. I always personally thought find getting more photos are better. One thing I did have to restrain on a bit, because I did take multiple photos of the same thing, but sometimes that's not a bad thing. Sometimes you do want to have 10 photos of the same thing from different angles, because you don't know which one's going to come out better before you edit, but sometimes you want to take that step back, check it out before you do it. Now we move on to when I first started to look at trying to do some night photography and getting some photos of the moon. In a sense they all do kind of come out the same, but it's quite interesting and cool when you do get that first shot of the moon and you're like, oh shit, that's the moon. Oh right, here we go. We've got, for some reason I really love this photo. I could not tell you why. There is only levels, black and white, and a vignette added to this. I think it's just quite dynamic in a way. So with that we hit the end of the first book, and it is a bit of one of, you go through it now and you're like, oh, I don't really like that, why did I do that, that's not that great. But at the time I was really proud of all these photos, and I still am, because it shows where I started from. We now move on to the second book of Year 12. Starting to look at like different ways you can use shutter speed. We also then looked at doing light trails, which is kind of pretty cool. Just moving your camera back as you are doing them as well, because it's just first little time lapse I did links in the description below to videos that are on this channel that are unlisted. These are videos of things from inside my sketchbooks that are also linked on my website. I'm not saying they're all great, they are first times, most of them, like that's the first time I've done something, but it's always nice to look back on and go like, yeah, I can somewhat do this. So this was the first time I did, obviously it's at Christmas as you can see, and even colouring them as well, just finding new different ways to edit and how to add things on top of other photos. Practicing some fast shutter speeds, breaking some bottles, this was quite fun. It was a bit, I also got a bit of experimentation here. Basically I'm taking beer bottles that were on the photo. But then this is some of my favourite painting with light I've done. I believe this one is on my website, not the original, and then the final edited version. Basically I teach you, it's a whisk on a piece of rope with some iron fibre, I think, and you light it on fire and you just spin it. None of us could do it because it's not safe, sadly, but we were able to get some photos of it and that's pretty cool, definitely something fun. And that is the end of the second book of year 12. We now move on to the third book of year 12. Doing a bit of HDR, so high dynamic range photos. Take an overexposed photo, you take an underexposed photo, and you take one that is exposed. And you basically compose all these together and you get some like really cool effects. I believe both of these ones are on the website. And then you need to do your normal little bit of processing on top of them, make them a little bit cleaner, a little bit nicer. It's always quite fun. Here we go, here's my first attempt at doing panoramic photos. When you come to take a panorama with a phone, you can just go and go wee, and it's not too bad. On a camera you have to take all the photos, stitch them together. Luckily you can get programs which will help with this. It's a blessing, really. They didn't actually go that bad. I was pretty pleased with how they turned out, if I'm honest. Saying they were my first time, I was alright. I also tried a little extension, little stitches between it, giving it a bit more. Now this is actually one of my nicer panoramic photos. The original is technically about 10 photos or something or other like that. But I do like this and just made that pink pop, especially with the lens flare on there. I took this one of my friends all walking down and one of the sunset and just merged them nicely together. I did actually rearrange where the people were stood, looked better composition wise. Here we go, here's another one of Bias. This is one of my favourite ones, to be fair. Kind of a bit inspired by Infinity War, you know, drifting away particle effect that I'd also just figured out how to do. And then I really like the one of Zan on the other side. I was like, I want to make this cool watercolour effect kind of splatter on the paint. We then actually move on to some panning, which again is a completely new thing to me, and I had no idea what it was until we started talking about it. If I'm honest, the photos really hit and miss. You can do it, you can't do it, and I think the people that can do it, it's really impressive. Again, another photo here that I still really like. I just love the depth of field in it, how short it is. The fact that you can just see that droplet, the droplet of water. And with that, we hit the end of my year 12 book. But not quite. As well as the 3 books I produced throughout year 12, we also did an extended project. This was a short little piece to get us ready in turn for year 13. So for me, for this, I chose to do some sequence photography as I've seen it before and it looked pretty cool, not gonna lie. So my test shoot I did with Ben, and I mean they came out good. It was a good start. And I tried different ways of editing, doing different opacities on each layer of person, and it's also about like getting the composite, like which way round you lay the photos, right? Especially with this photo, the first time I did it so they stacked on top of each other, which then meant Zan's head was in a butt, which if I'm honest didn't look that great. Then produced a small little final outcome, which was this one. It's a bit cool, I think, just seeing that action like going through rather than just that end action like pose, like you're seeing that whole travel of how you get from start to end, and it's always quite nice. We then move on to year 13. My math and my shoot ideas and my artist studies, and then when I got to school I knew I could get cracking straight with the photos. I just do landscapes, as if I'm honest, it was something I took a lot of. What got me into taking photos in the first place was taking photos of sunsets and everything. So we get a photo like this where I do that little bit of experimentation on it. Little triangle, flip it upside down, perfect. This was linking to an artist. But yeah, you'll see the theme of like triangles pop up quite a bit throughout this book. It was just something that I decided to have as a running theme, and it linked to an artist that I saw in an expedition. Again, another black and white photo that I love. It's just a bit interesting to look at sometimes when you do black and white something. You're not focused on the colour, you're focused on all the textures, all the shapes. Here we go. This would be something that would be kind of cool to do. But actually making the picture a jigsaw. This panorama was actually a pretty nice panorama. It was quite a cool location. Did quite a little bit of walking that day, up and down hills, and I think we got lost as well. So that was always fun. It was one of my favourite little purchases, a ball lens. Focus into the ball, and because of how the light hits it, everything gets flipped, and it just makes a little bit of a cool effect on the photo, if I'm honest, and I really love it. I still use it. This photo is one of my favourites, how it turns out, how colours turn out, but definitely a really cool photo. So this was following the artist that I saw at the exposition. They basically did work where you look at it one way and you see one thing, you look at the other way, you see another thing. So I wanted to do this, and if I'm honest, now it's kind of falling apart. It wasn't made the best structurally, I have to give it that, but the effect kind of somewhat works. It's not the most well executed piece in the whole entire world, but it was a start. It was an experiment. This was my first ever shoot. I did RAW, and first time RAW processing. If you don't know what RAW is, it's basically the camera doesn't compress the photo as it takes it. You get all the information, so it means you can brighten up in darker areas a lot easier than you can with JPEGs. I do really like this photo, to be fair. I love the way the sun just bursts on through the leaves in the tree. And here we go, some nighttime stuff. I mean, this extension is literally falling apart. I have no idea where the pieces are. But we have a nice little moon sequence. And that's the end of the first book, for the first part of year 13. We then move on to the second book. We like sunsets. They appear. Then we looked at getting inspired by David Hockney. I did this. Kind of inspired by David Hockney. I also brought stuff up and out of the photo. One I really like because you can just see all the little veins and everything. One of my favourites still is, and I love the green. And what I even did on this, I put super glue on top of it. It takes a second to realise what's happened to it. It gives that little bit of texture to the photo that when you run your hand over it. But it also gives a little bit of the sheen and the shine caused from water in real life. It's always nice to be a little bit experimental and know that sometimes not everything you do is gonna work out right, but it's always nice to just give it a little bit of a try, because you never know until you try. But I did some Polaroid photos. I have a Polaroid camera and I wanted to experiment with it, and actually, to be fair, some of these photos I kind of forgot about this, if I'm honest. I forgot I'd done this, and once you've taken it, you've taken it. There's no going back. Where, when, how, angle, positioning, everything. You have to double think it, because you've only got that one shot. So we have this photo that we then experimented with twice, but one way I much prefer, and it's doing that watercolour effect I did on the photo of Zan as well. Then I wanted to put it onto wood, because why not? Now, if I'm honest, with this photo, it probably wasn't the best idea, but it was fun to do, and it's definitely something that I do kind of want to do a bit more of. Food landscapes, they were something that I tried a bit of the bane of my existence. They did not go as well as I thought. Had a go at it, and that's all that matters really. If I'm honest, I do not like them. They were alright. I tried my best to try and do them, but book 2 of landscapes finished. And now we're on to the final book of landscapes for year 13. So here we go, we've got some experimentation, cutting up a photo, seeing how it goes really, I think. Here's a star trail. I tried to do a lot of photos to then get pieced together. And I then did a little magazine cover as well. It is a skill that I need to practice on more if I do want to do them. It's not one, I've only done it them 2 times. But it was fun, it was interesting to try these new things and to learn how they work. Here we go, we did some 35mm. The film was probably a bit exposed, light bleed. It was an old film, I'll put it that way. I didn't know if it was going to work or not. I wanted to experiment, have a little go. We went to Batman's house. Again, like the Polaroid, it has that same thing. You have to think about the photo before you take it. It limits you on how much you can and can't take. And it also can go wrong. The positive thing in this day and age, we can edit them now. You used to not really be able to edit them, or in the sense you can today. where you can get a digital copy of the film. The final outcome. So I took inspiration from David Hockney quite a bit for this one, linking stuff that I had done throughout and putting it in one and kind of closing off the whole topic. We had to present it as well, so I got it printed quite big and we did this. It was our first chance to do something kind of big where you spend a lot of hours on it, so obviously I edited all the photos individually, put them all together and then mixed and matched it, just trying to get everything leaned up. I mean, I am proud of this. It took a while. It worked out. Obviously there's different things I'm going to do differently. This was taken across multiple days at different times. Also had to produce an essay, but we also had to do a way to present this essay. This was mine. The essay had to be about one of your shoes and you kind of had to just like write a lot of stuff about it. I can't really remember now, but then you also had to present it in a way. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to hark to this artist that I'd done the expedition on. I chose one of my sunset photos and I basically made it so that you look one way, you can see the photo with the whole, well not the whole essay on, but with the essay written on it. And you look the other way and you just see the photo, and then you finish it with an evaluation. And that is landscapes done. Right, so we've had the joys of one GoPro dying, which I apologise, and this camera dying as well, but it's fine. We still have one GoPro going. So I want to apologise, we are swapping to phone quality. My fully charged spare battery apparently wasn't fully charged, so it missed the complete first book, but it's fine because I've got it all on the GoPro, so sorry the video for that little section probably isn't as good. Got one last bit left, and that is the final piece of year 13. I chose audience, viewers, spectators. I chose it because I really wanted to do stuff with people and using portraits, capturing people in the moment as they're looking at something or viewing something. With book number 1. Again, we've done a brief, we've got shoot ideas, we've got a mood board, and we've got artist studies. So the first bit I did was a bit of street photography, nothing too special. I did some glow-in-the-dark portraits. Now, I took some inspiration from photographers I looked at. It was fun using Hannah as a model. Got this one here, some rocking shades on, added some like retro-y kind of TV glitch effects, and it looks pretty cool. And I do love some of these photos. I love this one here of just the way of using some fibre optics in front of the lens. Definitely stuff I want to do a bit more of. Again, this photo, I love just that contrast of the stuff that's in the UV, stuff that's in the normal lighting. After a bit more street photography, we've got some coloured portraits using my brother. Mixing up the different coloured lighting here, experimenting, adding some shapes over the top, make a bit of a blind effect. And then this is one of my favourite photos, is merging two photos together. Two of my brother, different coloured light, the one with dad, and adding the glitch effects on top. It then really reminded me of the movie Nerve and the poster for it, so I thought I just had to imitate and make my own little one. In Nerve, you are being watched, or you're a player, and it kind of harking to that. And then we come to the end of the first book, and we have the last book. So firstly, I found the essay, sunset essay, for landscapes. That's fun. Yeah, that can go with that now. So here we're coming up on a little video, I believe, that I did of this guy doing some spray painting. A little mashup of people watching him and him making the spray paint, which I believe that one will be in the link below. I also wanted to experiment with all the different ways in which I could edit and mess about with it, if I'm honest. We've got these frames because I wanted to give a different way in which you can view the photos, and I really like this idea of making a camera and you're viewing a video or a photo through a frame of a camera. So it's having that, you're viewing through a camera of someone's viewing, is, you start to get really inceptional and really weird. But then we come to the final outcome. So this year 13 topic of audience, viewers, spectators was only from the span of about January to May, but I've got plans because I wanted to do a camera. I wanted to make this big camera frame sort of thing. My plan was probably a little bit more elaborate than I could have done. And then we've got a storyboard, and the final thing. This is down in the description. We then have the evaluation. But for the final piece, yes, I am proud of what I've done, but at the same time I can look back at it and be like, right, what the hell was I doing there? I was wanting to get, at the very end, you have the lens looking back at you and you're being watched as you're watching this whole inception of viewers, audience, spectators, and everybody's watching each other. This fit around the MacBook that we had at school, and then the video we're playing there. Now, it's not as detailed by any means that I would have liked it to be. I would have liked it to be a lot more detailed and have a lot more on there, but for the 15-hour time frame, that took a day. That took about 5 hours to do itself. In between times of building that, I was editing and making contact sheets and everything, because you had to as well finish your book by the end of the 15 hours, so you had to make sure everything was wrapped up, completely done. You couldn't do anything after the exam finished. Thanks guys for watching this video. Apologies that I've had to swatch flame quality. Hopefully you have enjoyed looking back at all my A-level photography stuff from year 12 till year 13, and if you haven't checked out my website or my socials, they are linked down in the description, as I have said before. As well, subscribe to this channel to show your support, and remember to smash that like button as well. I'd appreciate it. Hopefully, fingers crossed, more videos coming this way on this channel. I'll see you later. Bye. Though it is what I get, of course, for not filming over the year. My camera's like, no, we're not going to help you today. You've not used us for a while. You're not getting good stuff.